Hi everyone, I am Chris Falco from Falconian Productions, and I am the storyteller for...
I'm Andrew. I play Mason, a proud member of the Pentex first teams and a Dawncast Solar.
Peter as Dolores Star, the Heart Eater.
And Nick playing as Henry Temple of the Infernal Exalted.
Alrighty, so, I won't embarrass you all by asking you to recall what happened last time, because I barely remember. But...
It was a fight in a parking lot against werewolves. We won, hooray.
Yes, that was the most memorable. I definitely remember that.
You got a bunch of pavement in your organ bits.
Oops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you started off in the bar, something that starts with S. Scoundrels, that's what it was called. You were basically all talking about how weird everything is and how screwed up Magadon is, and then, some werewolves that turned out to be creatures of darkness, which you can put 2 and 2 together there, overheard you and basically called you nerds, which was a bit, weird, but, Henry, I think, was the one who actually ended up deciding to take them outside, expecting to just kind of take a few blows and let them burn off some steam, but then they couldn't even hit him, and, well, that really pissed the main one off until eventually he kind of ended up frenzying on you all, and his friend kind of couldn't do much but try and help him out, since everything very quickly came to lethal level blows. Henry lost about 50% of his body mass, but was okay.
We went to work the next day.
Right.
Now we have 2 Henrys.
Right, just, some bandages and essence, and it's all good.
Demon worms.
Yep. Then I think we basically did just about a day in the office. You heard from your boss. Mason got accompanied with the new first team, which included the woman from the other first team who basically got transferred to your new office, the one who you pretty easily discerned was a Fomori. And Dolores, well, basically just got settled in the mailroom and started the process of making the entire Magadon building her lair, with your nifty charm, if I recall.
Yep.
Let's start off the office background noise. There you go. Alright, so, I do have a calendar up, so you basically just went through one day, Monday last time, right? So, now you're on Tuesday.
Thank God.
Yeah.
We still Mondays.
Yep, I have a time tracker up now. I'm not going to actually go hour by hour, but I can use it so we don't forget what day it is again. Alright, so, with the first day over, I don't believe any of you were doing anything before work on Tuesday, correct?
Probably not, no. I mean, I assume they start us pretty early.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a typical 8 to 5, and, if you're a good employee, you want to put in several hours more work because, you're a family there.
Yeah, right. Plus, in this economy.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, they can only pay you... They don't pay you full overtime, they just give you time, because even that's, them being generous, because you're technically a salaried employee, and they don't have to... It's a whole thing.
Right.
Early vacation somehow.
Unlimited PTO and no time to take it.
Exactly. Oh yeah, they totally do the unlimited PTO thing here. They probably invented it, not in this office specifically, but Pentex as a whole probably invented that.
Of course. Because that way, when they fire you, it's no longer an asset or a liability they have to pay.
Mm-hmm. It's, as much as you can get approved, and you won't get much approved. Alright, so, coming in the next day. Who do we want to start with? Well, let's start with Mason. So, sure. Mason, what's your morning routine usually like?
So I imagine, I probably, there's probably a night shift security team there, so probably I come in at whatever my shift time is fairly precisely. Like, I'm sure the schedule is rather stricter than that for like office workers, right? So I show up at probably 7:30, and relieve the on-duty team from the previous night and hear a report of if anything spooky happened, which inevitably they say no and hide all the injuries they sustained.
Right.
Unless there was an actual, like, unless there was like, a werewolf attack or demons escape from the dungeons, they always say no, right?
Right.
Business as usual if someone, if ghosts try to spook you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sort of head down to whatever their security team is, and look at the duty roster and see if you're like trainings, you need the armor stuff, or if you're just sort of standing around waiting in the security room, with your fancy snappy Pentex uniform, designed by the same guy who made the Nazi uniforms, of course. And
of course.
yeah, right, with your sidearm and a deck of cards, basically.
Yep.
And then there's probably like every couple hours you wander the building. This is probably a typical boring day, although with the new boss, he's running us pretty hard, so there's probably training.
Yeah, so the new boss, the Fomori, Jewel, which you would have found out her name by now. Not Jewel, Jewel is in like the unit of power, Joule is what she calls herself. Nobody questions it that doesn't regret questioning it. Yeah, she's definitely been running you harder, like, not necessarily like having a ton to do on your first couple of days back, but she makes sure that you're where you're supposed to be and that you're not playing cards when she's looking, but people try to do it anyway, hide it under
right.
Yeah. But so yeah, she actually gets a hold of you, tells you to come to her office, and her office is basically just the like corner of the room that kind of has like a little inlet into the wall, but it's not actually a room. She's just made that into an office area for herself.
It might have been a broom closet at one point.
Right. And, she calls you in there, and she starts going into, some crap about how, the usual, like, you need to do right by the company and all that kind of thing. Don't lays off, but then she kind of starts eventually segueing into how, you've been involved with some shit. Like, last time you ended up calling in to the first team about what happened at the bar, right? If I recall. I know Pentex got called. No, Dolores called them.
Yeah.
And then you had to give a report. Like, you would have had to, give it. This is probably the time when she's having you give your full report on it, actually.
Right, yeah, because I caught the injured nerd out of there. Because we didn't want to see the fact that he was degenerating from having a werewolf fist-sized hole in his gut close up.
Yeah, that's not something you want studied.
Right, not at Pentex.
Yeah, definitely not at Pentex. Problem is, Pentex won't be surprised by it, and they'll, that'll be an issue. That they'll want to learn more.
Yeah, so I guess the report is something like I was engaged in there's probably a word for it, like out of office team bonding exercise.
Right.
Cross team bonding or whatever they call it, and we were.
She laughs when you put it that way, but doesn't otherwise interrupt it.
Right, we were approached by ruffians who insulted us and the company and demanded violence. The scientist, yeah, the scientist agreed to engage in a friendly sparring session outside. The two ruffians quickly lost their tempers and things got out of hand. And I did my duty and protected the nerds.
She nods, and she has like a small tablet, and goes through that and says, right, so from the report I got, it was a set of lupines, correct?
A pair, yeah. They
Yes.
were slow and awkward though, like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yes, but still, you went up against two shapeshifters. They're known to be very, you know, they'll take
Yeah.
out a whole team if, you're not careful. And that's just one of them, but you managed to deal with them mostly yourself, it looks like, reading
Yeah, I
this.
mean, I had my duty knife and they were drunk, but yes, it was not an easy battle.
She nods and like, I'm curious if you want to be made into the let's call it the team's secondary lead when I'm not around.
Yeah, I guess like the squad leader. That seems like it could
Right.
be a useful promotion, assuming it comes with a compensation improvement along with the extra duties it will require.
Well, that's something you'll have to take up with HR. That's not really my, you know, area.
Well, I'm sure you'll put in a good word for me when I go talk to them.
Of course. I will put that in and forward it to them then. Well, one of them will email you later to set up the appointment for that.
Yeah. So, and I assume essentially you just want me to run the team and make sure that everything is
Yeah,
uh,
basically
going according to plan.
what she's doing is hoisting all of her responsibilities onto you, and without giving you quite as much as she makes.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not her money, so what does she care?
Right, exactly.
But without
I
the
mean,
fancy
yeah,
job title.
you'll of course be able to negotiate with HR, but yeah, you don't have the same level of title as her, but you're still in
Right.
charge when she's not around, at least.
I believe the title is Straw Boss, maybe.
Yeah, straw boss.
See, it's us, man, assistant manager.
Yeah. I mean, it's something like, sub squad leader interim, or something like that.
Right.
A bunch of words that don't
Lance
actually mean
Corporal,
much. Yeah. So yeah, she sends that into wherever she has to send that to HR, and a little later in the day you will hear back from them. So before we get that far, Dolores, what are you going to be doing day to day when you get
Well,
in?
I probably start early, do the coffee for everyone, and start going through the mail. And recently I started doing the rounds around the office just to spread my blood all over the place. Cut myself on all the corners there to mark the territory.
Sounds good. Let me check your sheet for just a brief moment. Okay, why don't you roll me awareness, and your spirit specialty does apply.
Okay, perception awareness.
Yes.
Okay. Where's my team? Boba. It is my Eldritch, so what's the difficulty?
7. Because it's not something you can
7.
actually see to start. Alrighty. 3 successes because I don't see any 10s there.
Yeah.
Alright. So, as you start, making your rounds, ostensibly, I imagine, like delivering mail and whatnot in the process, or checking for packages, or, making up a note that this one actually has to go into the sub basement that nobody actually uses, so you can put your blood there. As you get to said sub basement, you start to get like the heebie-jeebies. There's something there that is watching you that you can't really see.
Oh, do we have any charms for that? I don't think so. So I guess I'll just, try looking deeply into, the abyss and, gently marking things, not moving my eyes away from that thing and, make my rounds quick.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let me... You know what, I'm not going to even bother rolling for this. So as you continue to do that, as you start to mark the final area, you see essentially the building. At first, it seems just kind of like it shifted, like you're an inch, further away from the wall than you thought you were, that sort of thing. But as you then like refocus your senses, you realize everything's a little bit different. In particular, there are a lot more spider webs down here than you originally thought there were. In fact, there really weren't any because they make sure to keep the area clean-ish. But that is something you noticed in general. There really aren't a lot of like pests or bugs around this office, which, it's supposedly a new one, so you would expect there not to be. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of spider webs now. They're kind of big webs. They're like cobwebs that kind of like stretch between the, halfway into the wall to the next corner over, and kind of curve strangely.
Oh, we need to clean this up, but that's not my job. I'm the janitor.
That is true. However, they start to vibrate weirdly, and then the building itself kind of rumbles. And just in case, you other two are wondering, at no point is the building rumbling while you're working today. But Dolores, it seems to be, and I'll just roll off the awareness you already rolled. It's like it's trying to say something. It's aimed at you, that rumbling, but you can't actually understand it right now. At least I assume so. You don't have any, like, universal language abilities or whatnot, right?
No, I don't have that. I only have like a perception charm with acute paranoia principle, but that's it.
You do have past lives. Why don't you
Yeah, I
roll...
do have that.
Why don't you roll me... I don't care what ability it would be meant to replace. Just roll me, like, wits plus past lives. As if you were... I mean, if you want to use that to understand, I'm not going to force you to
Sure thing.
use it.
What's the difficulty?
Let's call this... Does the background have a normal difficulty? I think you use it just in place of... Let's call it 7 again.
Usually you'll just spend it. And, yeah. That's 4 successes.
Okay, 4 successes. So yeah, as you try to listen to it, you can't completely make it out. It's not like a language per se, but you get the feeling that these sounds are the building itself or some reflection of it, kind of asking what you're doing, not really in a defensive way so much as it's just really curious about you.
Well, talking to a building, that sounds like, some sort of trouble, waiting to happen. So she ignores, the possible voices in her head, more so than, usual, and just proceeds onward.
All right.
Can't afford more medical days off.
Yep. So once you leave the basement area, then it pretty much, the rest of the place returns to normal. Whatever that was, it didn't follow you per se, or at least, yeah, basically that.
Not yet. Eventually I can make the layer be sentient and talk to me, but that's separate charms.
Right, but what if the layer is already sentient?
Well, too bad for it.
And it has
All right.
personality disorder.
Yeah, that would be interesting. All right. So yeah, that's the odd thing that happens to you today. Henry, then.
Yeah.
As you're getting to work, you get a voice call from your boss. And since it's actually not a voice call, a video call. Different beat.
Okay.
Which is inherently voice, but... and so in the process of that, why don't you roll me awareness before we start?
Great. My best stat. Fantastic. I'm so So good at that. All right, let's do
Yep.
this.
You can use the better of wits or perception since you're kind
Oh
of.
no, I'm messing around, but if you'll let me do that, thank you.
Well, you can do it because wits kind of. You're already looking at him, so.
Okay. Let's see.
One
Amazing.
success.
Okay.
Okay. So, you start up the video call with him, and it's basically he starts to describe some of your new responsibilities from, the promotion you coaxed out of him. And he, essentially you're supposed to be upgrading the systems in the place is what they want you to do to basically see if you can make everything more efficient but still use the same systems that, connect to Pentex and, up the line and whatnot without it
Yeah.
changing the protocols. Basic stuff where if you figure out how to do it, he can take credit for it, and if it doesn't work, which he probably doesn't expect, then, he can blame it on you. But in the process of that, as you're watching him, you kind of get a flash, and he looks kind of weird for a moment or two. Something like that.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
boy.
like
That's
all
a
of that
bad
just kind of
look.
like peeks out of him for a moment, and then, it goes away, and he looks normal again, basically like that picture without the weird spider creepiness on him.
Spiderhead.
Yep.
Oh god, Spiderhead. Oh, you found a new name for him. Okay.
Okay, Mrs. Spider.
No, I mean, Bill.
He doesn't think much of it. He's not really paying attention to you, is what the idea you get there.
Oh yeah. Okay, so he's just kind of let me know about like, hey, so if you could upgrade the system, that'd be cool.
Yep.
And I obviously know him personally enough to like, oh yeah, he's gonna try to just take credit for whatever I do. Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah. And, he tells you, there will be an email with details, and he'll put in a job request or whatever, and all that kind of crap. The stuff you already know, and he really could have just made this an email to start with, but of course he didn't.
No, this is like his. Yeah, this is what he does.
Right. He's not usually here in person, so he can't call a meeting, but he can call a meeting this way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell him. Hey, no problem. So this will probably take like a week. It's not gonna take a week. But I'll give you updates. Okay.
He just kind of grunts at you and ends the call.
All right. Perfect. Great. Excellent.
Yeah, so, that does mean, you already basically have all the access you need because the pattern, quote-unquote, pattern spiders here love you. So even if you couldn't get into it yourself, which you can, they would let you in. But, he does give you some slightly better official access to things.
Sure, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's basically what you're going to be mostly working on. If you wanna make me a roll and tell me if you're using any charms just to see how well you actually do this. I'm assuming you can manage it, but
Oh, would you give me the privilege? Oh,
I
that
would
would
give
be
you.
wonderful. Oh, well, let me just tell you. So I'm going to use my excellency, of course. So I'll be throwing 20 dice at this. And then an important factor, I did just pick up, what was it fucking called? Tool Transcending Constructs? That's the one. And of course, programming is pretty complicated and such. So, I believe I get the ×10 speed bonus.
Yep.
Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful.
So
Love
you're
it. What
you're
is...
gonna finish everything today and claim it's taking you a week.
Oh yeah. I'm giving myself a lot of free time. Absolutely. What's the difficulty?
Oh, it's we're gonna say 8 because you really are having to work around the system to make it still compatible. It's something that would be really hard for a normal person to get done in time, but you'll probably get it pretty quickly.
Because my boss is a pain in the ass, of course.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, here we go. Come on, baby.
Alrighty.
4 successes.
4 successes on 20 dice.
All right.
Well, you know, that's
So you
still
rolled the
enough.
right difficulty?
It could be more successes because, do you have specialty for it?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me double check here. I have specialties in creativity, which I could maybe apply because I'm doing a weird workaround thing. And oh wait, no, technology, computers.
Yeah, well, what did you roll?
Because I'm
Computers
like,
or...
am I working with the hardware? Or am I working with the programming? That's I guess
I mean,
the
kind of
question.
both, so whichever... I'll say you can get your specialty.
Fantastic. In which case, I have how many goddamn
6.
successes?
6.
Oh, God. 6. Hell yes.
That is...
Oh, that's fantastic work.
Alright, so 6 successes is definitely enough to get this done within a week, and then, you know, cut that down by 10, so you can get it done with some time to spare today. You'll have this ready.
4 hours,
of course,
right?
And of course you can set it up so until you actually press the, you know, upload button, it's not actually going to look like you're finished. So...
Oh yeah, I'm just like, oh no, it's in draft. It's in draft. I'm still working on it. You know. No, I have the
Right.
hardware in. It's just everything else. You know. Yeah, you know. Excellent. So real quick, my nature is innovator. Would this workaround count as like a way to gain? Would I
sure. You
regain
can have it.
willpower? All right. Thank you.
Just the one, but yeah.
No problem. Thank you. All right.
All right.
What a great day's work.
Right. So after that, you know, that covers about your first day here. Well, second day, technically. You know what I mean. Let's see. How do I tell this to just add a day? This one. Whoops. I have to put a number there first. There we go. Now it's the next day, you know. Obviously, interrupt me at any point if you all specifically want to do something after work or whatnot, but I'm trying to get these first days to go by quickly enough because I know Dolores wants to get her lair up and all that kind of thing.
You could just fast forward to this.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I'm good with whatever kind of time skip you're interested in. I guess the only thing I would say is I would want to start working on help. Basically, I want to start working on like mind controlling people, basically to fucking get us some cash and promotions and such.
Right.
That's
yeah.
all.
See, that's why I'm not just jumping in a week because I figure we can kind of flow through this and let you do bits of stuff every day that you want to do, but not spend full sessions per day or anything like that. So yeah, the next day, though, Mason would, you know, get his email from HR. It's like, you know, come in at 7:30. They don't actually realize you're not supposed to be in until 8, but they tell you to come in at 7:30 today because they're just like
Sure.
that.
Of course.
You know,
Yeah, I'll get in a little bit early and head down to HR for my important meeting.
Yep. So the HR person is, honestly, she looks kind of like Dolores. She gives that same kind of vibe off. You know, she, you know, it's her place. She doesn't want to be there, but that's the only place she knows where to be. That kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah, she starts to go through, you know, your new responsibilities and whatnot, and she tries to offer you basically like a 5% pay raise. So if you want more than that, you're gonna have to do something about it or call on Henry.
I might have to call on Henry, but we'll see how my negotiations go first.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is the negotiation skill in this game?
It would probably be
Manipulation and-
politics.
Oh, yeah.
Politics.
And manipulation.
Politics is a
yeah.
knowledge. Yeah, manipulation and I don't know.
Well, I mean, it would
expression,
be-
maybe?
Yeah.
Mm.
Or sorry, what did you say?
I suggested expression or
Yeah, I'll give you expression. I figure politics is if you're like would be if you're like gonna try and outcite.
law for that matter. Yeah. You're gonna cite
Right.
company
But yeah, if
policy.
you're just trying to make a case for yourself on emotional front, yeah, you can go with expression.
Sure. Let me check what my manipulation is. All right,
Yes.
manipulation is 2. That makes it 5. What's the difficulty here?
7. She's a bit of a jerk.
Of course. I'm sure Dolores actually hates her.
Oh yeah. At the very least, she hates Dolores.
So I did get a success. Congratulations.
Yes, you did. So your offer is 6%.
Well, I'll probably complain to Henry after work and see if Henry will work his magic, but I guess negotiations are concluded for now, and then he can just sort of change it in the system.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so, I mean, you can do that during the day. Some of your patrol will take you, go and check on the IT area kind of thing.
Right. I'm sure we get coffee regularly or something.
Right. They do have to give you some breaks and whatnot.
Right. Well, I mean, the free coffee and terrible snacks keep you in the office so you don't leave for lunch. That's important.
Oh yeah, of course not. You only get a half hour for lunch, even though it's technically an hour, but they claim you're late if you come back after 45 minutes, so you're better off just staying there.
Right. Well, they don't want you leaving for Starbucks and coming back and taking 20 minutes, so they give you coffee there for free.
Right.
And so I can talk to Henry at the coffee station and be like, I got a 6% raise. That's sort of underwhelming. And then see if he has a response to that.
He's muted. That
well,
might be the problem.
Well, I guess they spiced coffee with something, because, need to convert you to Fomori slowly.
He's still muted. Did he
I don't think.
leave
I'm
without
so sorry.
telling us?
Just got back. So sorry.
Oh yeah, so I meet you, over coffee in the coffee station they have at the office, to keep, and mention that I got this kind of promotion and it came with a whole 6% raise. I'm not enthused.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, I mean, they heard about that little thing in that parking lot, and they're like, "Hey, you're pretty good at this, and we want you to be a squad leader. So we'll give you a slight promotion and kind of raise." I don't know. The HR lady started spouting a whole page of stuff at me, and I'm like, "What?"
What's her
I got
name?
a 6. Oh God! Now I need let's see, Gladys. Her name is Gladys Smith.
Gladys
Sure, that
Smith.
works.
I see. Okay. All right. Hey, I just paused for a minute, just kind of staring off in thought, and then Henry says, "Do you want me to take care of that?"
Sure. I mean, define take care. Are you gonna you're not gonna murder her or anything?
Oh God, no! Jesus, no.
Okay.
So you know that trick I can do with turning stuff on and on, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I can kind of subliminal message people too.
Well, that's creepy as hell. Yeah.
Yeah. But it worked on my boss.
You
I got
probably deserved it.
Oh,
Well, I'm
he's an
sure
asshole.
you actually deserved it, and he was just holding out on you. So that's probably fine.
Hey, see, I like the way you think, and I feel the same way about you.
Great.
So, are you cool with that kind of ethically dubious
I mean,
shenanigans?
On Gladys, yes. I'm
Okay,
pretty
'cause
sure
I'm not
she's
trying to
actually
get her
evil.
hurt or anything. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I mean,
If you
Wait, do you
could.
mean I kind of lean in you mean actually some kind of weird fucked up thing? Because my boss definitely is. My
Oh.
boss is like a bug man.
what? No,
yeah, I know.
mean,
Yeah.
I didn't look. I can go take a look, but I think she's just mean.
Oh, well.
What do you mean actually a bug man? Like turn into a bug? Like the wolf dudes?
No, not quite like that. It was almost like he's. So I haven't seen this before. Let me tell you this, okay? I just know that he's boring and an asshole.
Okay.
But
Out of
very
character,
recent. Oh,
he
sorry.
he did it did feel a little bit like the first team captain lady. So, he's probably also a
Yeah.
Fomori, just to...
Yeah. Okay, so I can pick up a little bit on that.
Yeah. Generally, awareness will give you, like, the basic type, so if I forget to give you more than the weird flash I tell you, feel free to ask.
No problem. So yeah, so I'll just say, yeah, no, like he didn't like transform exactly. It's more like he's got a facade going on, but I guess sometimes it slips. Look, I don't have I ever met him in person? Fuck, I'm trying to remember.
You probably met him in person, like, one time when you absolutely had to.
Yeah, there was that one time when the whole network shut down. Okay, yeah.
So do you think this is like a metaphorical thing where you're just sort of seeing some sort of creepy thing and they're like seeing their sins written all over their face or something, or is it more like they're lizard people except insects or something?
Fuck me, man. I don't know. I don't have the answers for you. I'm just something's going on though. I don't think I'm going crazy. Pretty
Okay.
sure I'm not going crazy.
No.
You're actually the whoever that lady is that I don't know who she is. The lady you work with. The one we met when
Yeah, the big tall
right
one.
after they
Jewel.
attacked.
Yeah, her name is Jewel.
Yeah, she gives off. I mean, I haven't seen her again doing any weird shit, but she gives off like a vibe like him.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like there's insect eyes behind her eyes or something.
Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh no. Okay, so there could be a bunch of them then. Of these fucking weirdos.
Yeah, I haven't. So like the first team program, I'm sure you've seen the documentation. They have these quote unquote genetic upgrades, and they're you have to qualify for the program, and I didn't make the cut, which is probably good. And I don't know. There's something like maybe what is probably like a quarter that some first teams have it, and they start to give off those kind of vibes.
Oh.
So this may be a byproduct, or maybe on purpose, or like the feeling we get is a byproduct of the quote-unquote genetic upgrades.
It must be some kind of signature that has to do with what they're doing. I don't know why we can just see. It'd be a lot easier if like literally you could see like a fucking evil aura or some shit. This shit's so ephemeral.
Right? Just sort of set my teeth on edge. And
yeah.
And kind of it was kind of the same thing with those wolf dudes, right? Like, okay, so normally I just don't go around stabbing people, right? That's not a thing that I do. But when I stabbed those dudes, it felt appropriate.
Well, they did turn into wolf things. They got really big and like scary and ripped out. I like lower my voice. Ripped out like fucking half my organs.
Yeah, no, and congratulations.
So I'm really glad.
You look really good for
Thanks. Yeah, no, I've been on the mend.
So you're feeling threatened by some, weird people, and you feeling good for killing them. That sounds kind of racist.
Oh no! Oh shit!
Tackle with you.
Oh no!
I'm not sure worm racism is really a thing.
Right, we start driving through Fomori neighborhoods really slowly and carefully.
God, no. Okay, so to get back on track. And that's in character as well. Henry's like, all right, sorry, to get back on track. Let me give her a call.
Okay.
I probably have her numbers in the directory somewhere. Here we go. And if I get her secretary, I will politely ask to talk with her, say it's like an emergency or whatever.
HR people have secretaries. They are secretaries.
Yeah, I was gonna say no.
Sure.
She probably has to take her
interns.
calls directly.
Okay.
There are interns, but the interns mostly like do stuff to make sure she can sit at her desk longer. She takes the calls, they get her the coffee and the documents, and they go tell Bob to meet her for the 3:00 and whatnot. But yeah, she does answer the phone and gives the little this is what did you call her, Gladys in
yeah,
HR?
name, I mean, it just sounded like a Dolores-esque name that wasn't Dolores. I just want to give Dolores a name.
Oh, we will go all the granny names.
Mhm. But yeah,
Oh, so she picks up.
yes.
Perfect. So I just hey, so this is just Henry. Sorry, I just need to get your attention. Give you a call real quick. I think there was. I sent you an email like about a week ago. Did you get that? And while she's like listening to me say that, I'm gonna mind spider cursor.
Alrighty. Go ahead
was
and
that?
roll whatever you have to roll for that.
Oh, mind spider curse is when I program her brain to do something that it's telling it to do.
Alright.
What is her willpower?
Her willpower
Yeah.
is 7.
7. And is she a creature of darkness?
No, but only barely
Okay.
no.
No, she's just HR.
Right.
She's mean. She's not actually.
She's
Okay.
worm tainted, but I don't think everything worm tainted is creature of darkness.
I see. And am I okay to have used my excellency as I'm calling the phone so I don't
Yeah,
immediately
that's
start
fine.
glowing at lunch? I appreciate that.
It means you're giving off green sparks. I can see them. That's it.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit of a display. I'm like, I can't look. It's just what happens. Okay. Yeah, it works. Yeah,
Ah.
just a little bit though, just a little. Oh, perfect.
Alright. And did any of your specialties apply?
I don't think so, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because 5, 6 isn't that the...
Oh yeah, 5
yeah,
is
3
the
or 4
max
you can
indeed.
do any... With 5 or more, they will risk his life and the lives of others at the Infernal's command.
Thank goodness I'm not going to ask anything like that. I am just going to make sure that my good friend here gets an actually appropriate pay bonus. What I would think is appropriate, not whatever she thinks is appropriate. And then you know what? My good friend Dolores actually needs like a nice bonus. And maybe recommend like a talk about like a performance evaluation because she does such great work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just asking her about the email, and oh yeah, sorry, no, I meant to send it to someone else. Oh, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks.
Okay,
Have a
yeah.
nice day.
So, well, both Dolores and Mason then, it won't happen today, but we'll say by the next day because, there's still bureaucracy to get through. You'll get notifications that you've got a more complete pay raise, and we'll say it's enough that to get another dot of resources for both of you.
Hooray! From 1 to 2.
Yep.
Same. Like, oh no, performance evaluation. What did I do wrong?
Oh no! Oh no! I gave her a panic attack. No.
No, I don't want to download an update. Anywho. So yeah, the next day, Dolores, you do end up getting called in, and it's clear Gladys ends up seeming like almost upset that she's giving you a raise and a good evaluation, but that's what you get.
Well, for once, she's surprised at the result of it, and employee evaluation.
Mm.
First raise in 20 years.
Yep.
Finally, Jesus Christ.
I mean, you probably got
can-
some very basic cost of living here and there. Like,
She can
what
afford the
they-
princess brand cat food now.
Right. So yeah. So at the same time, I know... So, through these last couple of days, is there anything either of the rest of you want to do? I know Henry's might have some more mind spidering to do.
Probably I will make an effort to get to know Jewel as part of our, I guess, what the heck our Fomori investigation. Like, see if I can get her to talk about herself other than, her role or whatever. And maybe she just doesn't want to and I can't get out of her, and that's reasonable, but I thought I would give it a try.
If you want
Build a
to...
rapport with the boss. Yeah.
If you want to make a social role of whatever sort, I'm not going to be picky.
Probably leadership. Trying to get her to do something. Encouraging her to open up. I don't know. Or maybe empathy. One or the other.
Empathy seems more appropriate.
All right. Charisma in this case.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Difficulty
Just 6. You're not getting anything specific right now, so
Right.
you just need to appear friendly enough.
Yeah, appearing friendly is probably manipulation. Being friendly is charisma. So, the question is, what's your approach here? Nah, just
That
kidding.
was just stupid amounts of luck. Holy crap.
Yeah, 5 successes. Yeah, so Jules seems to get along with you pretty well. I mean, she's not exactly the sweet type, but she's like, you start getting like a punch on the arm in the morning, that kind of greeting.
Right.
So she's warming up to you.
Yeah.
She lets slip that she's glad she put in for your promotion. You clearly earned it, that kind of crap. Even though you
Right.
haven't done anything except get friendly.
That's important though. That's an important
Yep.
thing to do.
Yep, networking and all that kind of crap. All right. So, Dolores, is there anything else you're doing besides, getting ready to take on
No,
the
just
lair?
making my lair here.
All right. No interactions with the basement at all if it tries to reach out to you again? Because it probably would at least like one more time.
Sure, if you want that, I can come down to the basement again.
I mean, it's up to you. Alright.
I'm indifferent, really.
I guess Dolores hasn't mentioned any of this to the rest of us.
That's a good
I would
question.
have mentioned, things I'm hearing.
Okay. And if I patrol the basement, it doesn't react to me.
No. Not...
Okay.
Well, I mean, you might be able
be in the
to...
basement trying
You-
to talk
you
with
could-
it, and maybe you could overhear her.
Sorry, what was that, Peter?
Maybe Dolores will be in the basement trying to talk with it, and you could overhear her.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe you got sent down to the basement because they heard some crap going on down there. They want to make sure someone's looking because the camera's not set up down there and blah blah.
Yeah. I mean, do I hear the rumbling if she's there when?
If you head
I'm
there
there.
and Dolores has started, you notice that basically the same thing she did. That when you get there, everything's slightly off, and there are spider webs that are too big and too high quantity to actually be there in a new building.
Okay. At that point, I mean, besides reporting it to janitorial services, I will maybe turn on the all-encompassing sorcerer site and see what the heck is in the spirit world here.
That sounds like a good idea. Do you have to make a roll for that, or is it just spend
Spend a
essence?
willpower and turn it on.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm assuming you're looking into the penumbra then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a fairy or Shadowlands thing.
Probably not. Not around here. You haven't really seen any evidence of fairies. Shadowlands would be a maybe, but again, this is a new place, so they haven't killed off too many people yet.
Right.
New place built on the ancient, Las Vegas burial ground.
Exactly. So yeah, you turn on your all-encompassing sorcerer sight, and essentially you see what you're already seeing, but more clearly. Like, all of a sudden, the inch difference or so is the default. Like, you realize that stuff isn't completely physically in the normal world. It's like projecting itself, and it's actually coming from the Umbra. There's
Okay.
definitely a spirit there, and the spirit looks like the building, except it looks like the part of the building that it is focusing itself on. Like, the whole building isn't awakened as of yet, but it can kind of be any part of the building that it wants.
Okay. Sadly, I can't talk to it with this particular power. There's another one in the chain that will let me later. But does it look horrible, or is it just like a building?
It
Like, how
looks
does
like
it come
a
across to me?
well, it looks like a building spirit, and it looks uncomfortable because of there are a lot more of those webs. When you're actually looking there, like. What you two are seeing when it's projecting, you're just seeing what's on the spirit, but then when you are looking across, you're seeing a lot more of those, around.
There are
There
spiders
are
crawling on me.
there are a couple
couple.
there are a couple of rusty looking spider spirits crawling about.
So do the webs look like they're restraining the building spirit, or part of it, or
At the moment, it looks like it's just kind of annoying it. Like,
okay?
I mean, it's a building, so it's hard to tell how much it wants to move, but, you know, even with the weird way it focuses, it can seem to do that without any issue, at least. But, you know, imagine if you went through a giant thing of cobwebs, how you would feel after that. You know, you're not being
Yeah.
trapped by them, but they're everywhere and ew.
Although
Yeah.
I might be able to tear these apart. I might actually try to see if I do, because Ghost Eating lets me essentially attack any spirit I can perceive. I'm not sure if the cobwebs count as spirits or not.
I'll let you do that. Sure, if you want to make a go of it.
Yeah, it's like experimental. Like, does this actually work? Can I touch spirit things? And yes, I can. Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. So yeah, if you want to chop away at some of those, you can do that.
Sure.
Cool. So now we're gonna roll initiative because those spiders are not happy you're chopping at the webs.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Uh-oh. Oh no, my spider friends! Oh no!
All right.
Poor
Let me...
building.
Delicious spider friends.
I mean, how many of us have something to fight spirits, really?
I mean,
Possibly only our friend here.
well, I mean, you can be creative, but
Sure.
we'll get to that in a moment.
Once
Yeah,
they
just-
manifest, you can just punch them.
That did not roll the initiative, so I guess I gotta do it this way. Alrighty. Negative. Oh, right, that's the extra actions. I purposely did that. So, Dolores, do you want to do anything? You do see that these weird, rusty-looking giant spiders are suddenly materializing and coming after Mason.
Yeah, I don't think I'd really have that much to do, such as, you know, start exiting to the nearest exit. Take cover. Full
Oh.
defense.
Okay. Sounds good. Alright, Mason. Spiders.
Yeah, I trigger my melee excellency and stab at one of these creatures and see what happens.
You know what? Let me really...
Oh,
I mean, no, that's fine. Your roll's fine. I was just going
Oh,
to...
that was Henry rolling
Sorry.
at me.
That was me.
Oh,
Sorry.
that was Henry. Right, because I said
regenerating
he
in the
could
background.
regenerate. No,
Off
that is
screen. Sorry.
all good. I'm just really quickly trying to yank the rust spider image from the book so that people can see what they look like. Both you and, you know, our viewers. Alright. Whoops. Assets, campaign, refresh. Alright. Create an image record so you can actually see it. Can I drag this onto the spider? Nope. Alright, well, if you all want to see it, that's what they look like.
Except all, yeah, corroded and disgusting.
Yeah, no, that is the rust spider picture. That's not pattern spider. Alright.
Okay. Seems appropriate that my aura would probably explode into sight as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's
like-
no one else here right now.
Right, and I'll pump the second essence into Iron Skin concentration to raise my soak. And
Sounds
then
good.
stab, and from Hell's Heart, I will stab at this thing.
I thought
With
Henry
with
had
my-
Hell's heart.
Well, okay. Then I will use my duty knife and stab at these creatures. Doesn't make a ton of noise.
Sounds good. Whoosh. Alrighty, 7 successes. It doesn't know what it's dealing with yet, so it's not gonna be dodging. So,
Yep.
yeah, go ahead and roll damage plus 6.
All right, I guess that is 9. I'm going to use the cast roll because my Anima Flare is up.
Yep.
So I guess
Okay.
that's 4 aggravated. Oh wait, no. The specialities apply, don't they?
Specialties
to
I
the
don't
dawn.
think apply to
They-
damage.
They do when
Unless
you're
they
at
do
Dawn
for
cast
you.
with your Anima Flare going.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, in that case, then I guess that would be 3 more
7.
if you're...
Yeah.
Alright, so it needs to soak 7 aggravated damage, you said? Yeah, because you have
Yes.
your Creatures of Darkness thingy.
Yep.
Alright,
Edge of Morning Sunlight, that's called.
yeah, sure. That. Alright, it rolls willpower for that, so... Well, let me just open my template and do a roll here. Okay, so it soaked 2 out of 7, which means it still takes 5 aggravated damage, which is not enough to discorporate it yet. Oh yeah, I suppose I need a second thing, since there's 2 spiders. Why did it make that? Whatever, I don't care. I don't care about anything. Okay, so the first spider took 5 aggravated damage. That is your turn.
Yep.
Alright, Henry, I don't think there's much you can really do from elsewhere in the building, unfortunately. So
I'm just chilling out.
and
doing my thing.
regenerating, yeah. Alrighty. Well, the damage spider is pretty much just gonna lash out at you, Mason, with
Sure.
lighted touch in tow. So it uses willpower for attack too. So willpower away. Alrighty, and you did not split your action, so you can't dodge unless you have a thing
Correct.
that lets you.
Nope.
Alright, so that will be 2 plus its rage of 4, which means also 6. This
Okay.
is aggravated because we're using werewolf spirit rules. Alrighty, soak 3 aggravated. You soaked 3 aggravated.
Yes.
Yes. However, you were hit, so I think you do still need to roll against Blighted Touch. So roll willpower.
Okay. I will do so.
I think just normal difficulty on that. I don't have it open.
Looks like
I can only
I
be
don't
in
see a box
somebody.
for that. Oh, here it is. Power. I have to edit. Okay. Click to edit.
What does Blinded Touch do?
We'll find out in a second.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, that didn't work.
No, yeah, you're not using a willpower. You're just rolling the.
I'll just roll a basic roll at 10 then.
Yeah. You're probably fine.
Difficulty 6?
It's either 6 or 8.
Well, I'll just roll and
Let's
while you
see.
look it up.
Yeah, I have it. Control Fing really quick. Blighted Touch, make a reflexive willpower roll. It doesn't say, which means it's 6. So,
Okay.
you are fine.
It tries to do something.
Yes, so basically this thing comes up and, rears back and kind of stabs at you with its front metallic legs. And, you feel them hit your flesh and it feels like something terrible is trying to break through, but it doesn't actually get through your skin. Your glowing wonderfulness fends it
Yeah.
all off. Alrighty, well, now the next spirit I think is gonna basically do the same thing. I could have it try to calcify you instead, but nah. I think it just wants to kill you because it's really a worm spirit in the end. Right. So, again, 6 dice. That is 4 successes, so that means 7 for the damage. Alrighty, soak 4. You have soaked 4, but roll willpower
Yes.
again.
All right.
Should keep track of where.
Same 3 hits, so I assume that they don't affect me.
Yes, sorry. Right. Okay, no extra actions this turn. Dolores, I assume you're just gonna wait this out.
Yeah, that's not my fight.
Alrighty, Mason,
All right, I'll try and finish off the one that I injured before.
go
as
for
it
it.
looks. And I'll put another essence into Iron Skin to lower my soak difficulty. Which leaves me at 7 essence and full stab.
What are you attacking these things with again?
A knife.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I mean, they're rusty, so it's not too hard to get them.
It's kind of stabbing them apart.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you
basically.
go. Alright, 8 plus damage.
I should really get a better melee weapon at some point, but
Eh.
little knife works just as well.
Well, it's hard to bring like
Alrighty.
a sword to work.
Yeah.
You
Well, you'd
know?
be surprised, right?
Oh yeah.
Soaking 6. And it soaks 3 of them, so it takes 3 more ag, and that is going to be enough to destroy that first one's materialized body.
I eat it. I trigger the ghost
Ghost, yeah, ghost eating technique.
eating, which I believe is
Alrighty.
Wits plus Occult. I can look it up.
Boop, boop. I'll just make it invisible. It's definitely dematerialized at the very least, but yeah. Make your roll to actually fully consume it.
Yes. Was checking. It is indeed Wits plus Occult, difficulty 6.
And I am keeping note of any time you do successfully eat a worm spirit from around Pentex. That is
Yeah.
definitely a success.
Yeah, I shred this worm spirit.
Alright.
And I think I regained 3 essence. Hooray, that puts me back to 10.
Well, Jesus.
Cool.
Waka waka.
Don't fuck with
Oh.
the Dawncast.
Yeah. Alright, well, that first spider is obviously just gone. I'll just delete it from that thing entirely in that case. Alright, well, the second one, let me double check its special charm really quick to see if it's anything it can actually use. Sustain reinforces. Okay, no, that's just a long-term thing. Alright, well, in that case, I guess it's just gonna have another go at it. At attacking, I mean. Alrighty, 2 successes, so...
Damage plus 1.
yeah. Alright, soak 4 aggravated. Yeah, you definitely soaked 4 aggravated.
Yeah, I'll probably need to roll willpower if it tries to blight me, though.
Yeah. It definitely does. But you are fine.
Man. Lucky.
Boop, boop. Alright, your turn again.
Alright, this seems like it's going to progress. Work. I may need to pump another essence into melee
yeah, that
excellency.
was... Yeah, that
Two
was 2
turns,
turns, so...
I'm back down to 9, and then I hit it again.
Wow. Okay. 11 plus...
My
yeah, damage.
goodness.
Yep.
Love watching all those dice roll.
I guess now we know how the
6
primordials
successes,
felt.
Yeah. Alright, so it does have at least half a shot of soaking that. Only takes 2 aggravated. Alright, well, that is your turn.
Yes. I'm sure it's making distressed skittering noises as this does not go as it expected.
Yeah, probably, but this is a pretty out-of-the-way place. So I'm not going to swarm you with rust spiders. As much fun as that would be.
Right, yeah, no, well, you know, Mason could do this all day.
Right, but that's not very much fun for everyone else, is the main thing.
That's absolutely true.
Alrighty.
I mean, do you guys want to just assume that he cleans up any others that come around, or?
I mean, yeah, if you beat this one with no trouble, we can assume you squish 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, assuming they jump at me, I'm only destroying them because they attack me, right? So,
Right.
I mean, granted, I antagonize them by messing with their webs, but Mason doesn't know any better.
Actually, well, first of all, soak 3 ag.
Sure. Here we go. And then the willpower check.
Yes. Ooh,
Only one
just
success
barely,
this
but yeah. You're still good.
All right.
Alright, before we get to the next turn, though, Henry, you are, at this moment, I don't know, knee-deep in wires. because, someone said that their stuff's not working properly, and it's because they let their wires get completely tangled and half of them unplugged. And, within the tangle of wires, one of these spider creatures, you've seen them before, I have mentioned them before to you, but one of them does materialize there within the pile, kind of out of view. If anyone else was, walking by, it's fully covered by them, but you can see it just fine.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Could you fucking? Where did you? What? What are you doing here? What?
The nearest speaker to you basically starts telling you in a digital voice that essentially a horrible, bright creature is attacking them, and they beg you, their god, for help.
Hacking you where?
It tells you, the basement down whatever stairway.
Basement? Alright, give me a second. I finished, just putting away what I was doing. I put up a sign, don't fucking come in here. Or, a slip sign or whatever, and then I head down to the basement.
Okay. You'll get there after another turn of Mason killing this one.
All right. Give it another stab.
Stab away, my friend. Alrighty. 7 plus damage.
Sure. Six.
Alrighty.
Oh wait, no. There's 10s there. 8.
Oh, right, because, yeah. Okay, so that is 4 ag. I believe this thing just has a normal health track when materialized, so it's not doing hot, but it does have 1 more health level. I don't think spirits suffer wound penalties, per se, when they're materialized. So I think it's just gonna, desperately attack you 1 more time. And then we'll say that Henry can get there and try and defuse the situation.
Sure.
Alrighty, 2 successes, which means 5 dice. Alright, soak -1 damage.
I think I manage
Yeah.
to kill itself in the process.
No, you don't. There's no true botch for damage rolls, but
Yeah.
I will say that it since it didn't even roll any damage, you don't need to roll willpower.
Great.
So yeah, Henry, you get down to the basement and see it is covered in spider webs, and one of them's completely gone, but there is one that's half broken down, fighting Mason. And the one that came to you kind of followed along, like the little kid that told Daddy on someone.
You're staring in disbelief at this, Mason, what the hell's going on?
I don't know, they jumped out and attacked me as I'm stabbing it to death.
I turned back to the spider that led me here. Why'd you attack him?
There's probably no speakers or anything down here for it to really... Do you have
Cell
anything
phone.
that lets you understand spirit speech?
You're probably carrying a cell phone. That gets.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I do
Yeah,
have
you
a
do
cell
have
phone,
a
but
cell phone. So yeah, your cell phone will
I'll
beep,
pull that out.
and there will
Yeah.
be a text message that basically explains that he started to destroy the building's support.
Building support? What?
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey, okay.
it
Hey, Mason,
motions-
are you destroying the supports to the building?
No, there's spirit cobwebs, and anyway,
What?
I need to get this fucking thing off me. So I probably just hurl it into a wall, which probably shreds it into pieces.
Yeah, the other one would have stopped when the...
Okay, if it backs off
Yeah.
as it's trying to claw at me, I'm well, no. So I'll indicate the building spirit, which ironically I don't believe you can see.
You can't see anything that's not manifested.
Well,
Yeah, right.
the building's also kind of manifested. That's why you can see some of those threads to begin with.
Right. So the
And the
cobwebs
building
are
itself
tangling
looks
up.
slightly off.
Yeah, the cobwebs are tangling up this guy, so I was trying to pull a few of them off him and just see if I could, and then they jumped out and attacked me. So I tend to take that pretty seriously, you know.
What do you mean by this guy? Okay, I can see that this basement has gone weird. It doesn't look right. What do you mean, like the building? The building's alive?
Yes.
What? The fuck kind of Looney Tunes shit is this?
I mean, okay, like I don't know, like the building has a thing. The building has a spirit, I guess, or a consciousness or something, and it's. I guess it got woken up or is. Anyway, the spirits were tangling it up, so I decided to see if it would be happier or madder if I pulled away a couple of cobwebs, and the spiders attacked me. So they're delicious, by the way.
Oh.
The one by Henry hisses at that, or some kind of spidery hiss equivalent.
All right, spider pal here, friend. What are you doing to the building spirit? Exactly.
It takes a few moments before, you get a few more texts that explain that it's essentially, getting the building ready for the void.
Okay, what's the void? What are
You basically get a text that goes into like 50 names for the worm, including the worm itself, the great void, the hungering worm, the all-devouring maw, that kind of thing.
I see. Okay, so, Mason, I think these spiders worship an elder god of some kind. That's, okay.
You get another...
Alright then.
You get another text that says, does our worship not please you, I guess, Lord, something like that.
They named him yet? That'd be great.
God, Lord? Oh boy. As your Lord and Master, I am a jealous god. So just listen to me when I say don't hurt the building. Don't hurt the building.
They, why don't you roll something, socially?
Sure.
It's my leadership.
But of course,
Yeah.
you get your nice difficulty break from worm things loving you.
Beautiful. What would the difficulty be?
The base difficulty would just be 6, because, yeah.
Alright. Do I even need to use my excellency? You know what? I will anyway.
Yeah,
I want to make
show
an
of it.
impression. Yeah. Nine successes.
Alrighty.
23, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they kind of like look to each other, that one and the one that's almost broken apart, and another that you didn't realize is, crawled up, from a different door. And they just don't seem to know how to take that straight away, but it's like, they supposedly work for the worm, but you are the worm and you're right here, and you're saying that it doesn't please you for them to worship the more distant worm.
Pentex as usual, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, which worm do you worship when you're with Pentex?
The important part was to not hurt the building. They can be confused if they like, as long as they don't hurt the building anymore.
All right.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Well, after a bit of
Henry doesn't know.
after a bit of spider speak to each other, they turn back to you, and you see a couple more spiders join your text chat there. And basically they kind of simultaneously all ask you what you would have them do to support the worm, or to support... When they say at that time, you get the feeling they mean the worm is in, like, the same sort of energy source you seem to get everything from, in a way.
Yeah, I'm picking up on those vibes. I will take a moment to think about that, and then I'll look at Mason and say, they're asking me how they can, like, help protect the building, or like what to. Do you seem to know more about what's going on with this stuff? You can see
I mean,
shit.
so okay, but I can see them, but I can't hear them.
Okay.
It's like a
well,
vision only thing. I haven't figured out hearing yet.
Okay. Well, I can show you these text messages. I
Well,
guess it's a little.
I think you can hear them. You just don't understand
Or at the
spirit
very
chitter.
least, at the best, I get
Yeah.
chittering. Well, when they're manifested, I can hear the chittering, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like everyone else can. It just
Mhm.
sounds like, static to me. But
Pretty much.
yeah, and the building spirit is sort of, what's it been doing? Just going on.
I mean, it's a building. It's pretty patient. It's just kind of watching how things are going down. Do you like seek like verbally try to seek out its opinion?
I mean, I make a gesture at it, like, should I pull the cobwebs off? Like, question mark? This is very primitive communication, because it's like the blind speaking to the dumb kind of deal.
I mean, its communication is basically that rumble I described before, which is not really any better for you. However, one of the spiders does seem to grasp that you all don't speak spirit so fluently, and so they kind of send Henry a text that says something that doesn't translate well, like the building's actual spirit name.
It's just like an error code, like in the text block.
Right. Yeah. It's like
Of
an
the
array
building.
of blocks. But then it says, array of blocks says that we are tangling it, but we are only preparing it for the greatness of the worm.
Okay. All right. I have an idea then. Since you guys are my my great bestest buds, my A team here, right? You guys are gonna set up shop here. You're not going to entangle the building in such a way as to like impede or annoy it. Instead, you're going to, watch out, keep an eye out, and try to, snag little things that try to hurt it instead. You can, I don't know, eat those. Do you eat? Whatever.
Looks like the order is back on the menu, boys.
Now they have they have another period of metallic chittering to each other, and they say we will redirect our efforts to create a protective web around the place instead of a securing web.
That's right. The building is not prey. Say it with me. The building is not prey. There we go. Perfect.
They all
great
send
team
you
meeting.
they all send you a text saying exactly that as you're saying it.
Perfect.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
I
right.
guess. Maybe ask about your
Spiders can-
boss?
Oh yeah. Hey, do you know my boss? The fucking what's his name? Gerald? Bill? I forget.
They send like, you have a boss, like how could someone be greater than you, that kind of questioning.
The verb.
It's like it's a mortal thing. It's not like what we got going on.
Okay.
So the guy that I'll describe like what he looks like.
Thinks
And then
he's your
I'll-
boss.
Yeah, and then I'll start describing. If they still see confused, I'll be like, and he's got like like appendages coming out of him, like an insect. Does that seem more familiar?
A few of them look just kind of confused, but eventually one of them sends you a text that says, the swarm.
A swarm? Tell me about this. What the hell's the swarm?
Alright, so you get another nice lengthy text that explains that there is a type of Fomori that are essentially made up of a lot of Banes instead of just one. And yes, they do actually. These are Banes, so they just use the actual term
I was
translated.
gonna say,
Um,
okay,
We
the
don't
proper nouns.
know what
Right.
Fomori are, but okay, they're using words we don't understand.
Yeah. And yeah, he basically explains it's a Fomori made up of a number of lesser Banes, rather than just one like most would be. And they say in his case in particular, he is made up of lesser versions of them, like basically tiny rust spiders.
Oh.
So yeah, he is full of spiders.
Oh, and that's probably why he was so weirdly receptive. I I feel like I had like an in, like with
That's
you
why
guys.
That's why he's so bitchy, because he's
That's
eating
why
all
he's so
her.
bitchy.
Maybe he can actually explain what the heck all these words are. Assuming you show us the text, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I show it to you. Yeah.
Like, what the heck's a Fomori? That's not in any books I've read.
Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe it's part of these weird science experiments they're doing though. It sounds related.
Now you should probably go visit your guy, your spider
Shit.
buddy, and just lean on him a little bit. And I can come if you want.
You know what? I would appreciate that because who knows if he turns into like a rust
Giant pack
spider
of rust monsters.
werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. See, same page, same page. Is Dolores good? Do we know if she's okay?
She's
not
hiding
being
behind
attacked
like
by...
the file cabinet there. I go over and take a look. You
Oh.
okay there? Did the spiders didn't get you?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Alright. I'm really sorry about that, Dolores. I didn't realize you were there.
That's good. That means I could, hit well from, a employee problem, something. Well, how the manual put it. And then the incursion.
That's right. That's right. Well, shit. Well, you can come with me too if you want to, Dolores. If you have nothing better to do.
Where
Oh, by the
go?
way, you should be getting extra PTO soon. Just a
Oh,
heads up.
great.
We're going to my boss's office. We're just gonna pay him a little visit.
All right. So are you all just going to kind of go, or is Mason gonna
I mean, go
say
like
where he's going?
file the paperwork. Like we're doing a. Does he work from home or does he just have a different office building?
He's in like
Nice, I
the
hear.
he's in the local Pentex office.
Okay.
All right. So I might need to
I can
do some
probably.
work.
I mean, I'll probably get Dolores to handle the paperwork because she knows how to do it.
Oh,
Pretty
that's
fast.
true.
Right. But it's probably like escort employee to meeting at other office is probably one of the things I do. So. No, we can. I know that there's arrangements that can be made, and I will arrange it.
Okie doke. All right. Well, since you do have a little bit more authority now, you're not questioned too much. They, especially if you explain that there's some oddities going on in the, I'm not.
I mean, when
how
they
do
ask
you
why
put
they're
it?
holding this meeting, I'm like, well, the nerds arranged it. I just escort them.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Publics, the land down under.
All right. Well, she likes you at this point. You made a thing of that, so yeah, she doesn't read into it too much. And like, yeah, all right, whatever.
yeah.
You know
I mean,
how
we'll
they
be back
are.
usually by the end of the day, probably. But no, we'll see how the meetings. We'll see how long the meeting goes. It'll probably be boring. So,
Mhm.
yay.
Yep. All right. Well, then you all have leave to go and do that, and you can even take the cool first team van.
Awesome.
Now I need to decide where on the map the actual regional Pentex office is. 'Cause as everyone can see on my background here, for those viewing, I actually do have a map of Las Vegas, and over here where it says Pentex Lab is actually the Magadon office. That's just what the image is, that original lab that Henry woke up in.
That does make it confusing.
Yep. I'll rename that. You know what? Actually, I can. You do still have a lab that looks like that, so why don't I rename that right now to Magadon Lab?
Perfect.
Lock that back up. There we go. Now it says Magadon Lab. That's where you start. Way out of the main area of the city. Let's see. What here looks like a good place for Pentex? I know that the casinos and stuff are all down here along the main strip. So it's probably... What's over here? Looks like there's a lot of houses and stuff, so there's probably one around... Whoops. Sure. We'll say there's a Pentex office around there. And I'll have to remember to mark that. Actually, I can mark that. I think there's a... I will literally just mark it for now, and then I will create an actual image for it later. But, alrighty. So now you know you're going to around there where that weird arrow is pointing.
Okay.
No, I don't want to be drawing still. Get rid of that. Stupid thing. Okay. Which means you basically just need to take a highway to another highway, so it's not going to be too bad. I mean, there's definitely traffic in Vegas, but that's not the most heavy traffic area. I mean, maybe once you're actually getting there, it'll take a bit, but yeah, you'll definitely be gone for most of the day.
Yep.
Well, in fact, I think what we should say is that this happened... that happened on the morning of Friday. Because, Dolores didn't actually say exactly when she was going to go down there, so we'll say that. So it's a nice end of the week thing. You can go home after you talk to your boss.
Sick.
And then Dolores can finish syncing up to the lair over the weekend.
Oh, wait, does that mean we get, like, our essence back and such?
Well, no, because you would have been full when you started that scene because of all the days of mornings of essence gaining that you had up until then.
Yes. Okay. Sorry about that.
But, whatever you spent, you're now down that much still.
Yeah.
Alright, unless... I mean, I know there's... You'd have to check your castaways of regaining essence if you want to regain some.
Defeated supernatural opponents, I probably get mine back, but...
Yes.
I think mine is... What is it? Whenever I learn secret or forbidden lore or bind an unwholesome being into my service. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I think I'll give it to you for that.
Fucking sick.
I mean, you gained some lore. You actually know the proper supernatural terms for some stuff now.
That's true.
And, they were already
I've cemented...
Yeah, you cemented your authority and have them doing a specific thing. So all that together.
Spider Lord.
Let's see. There we go. There's a tunnel sound effect. It's barely noticeable. Alright, now you're there. So, the main Pentex office, Las Vegas is not their most major location, so... The Pentex office is only slightly bigger than the Magadon office. It's a place where they basically have a lot of the middle management types, like, your IT boss guy who covers it for Magadon and for, the Otali's local and, what do you call it? The oil company starts with an E.
Endron.
Yes, Endron. All those basically the middle management that covers all of the local sub-Pentex subsidiaries are in this building. And it is normally a pretty closed-down building. Like, the front doors are locked and you need a key card to get in. So you, as a first team member, Mason, know that you do need to call ahead. And one of their first team security types does wait there at the door for you to escort you in.
Great. Yeah, and sign in and, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. Oh, that reminds me. Henry, did you, call ahead to your boss, or are you basically going to demand to be seen?
No. We filed whatever appropriate paperwork. I'll call ahead. Whatever will make this, official and nice and easy.
Okay, so yeah. You get there and they say, wait here for 15 minutes, and someone asks you some questions about why you're there and where you're from and who your boss is, and oh, right, your boss is the guy that you're here to see, that makes sense, blah, blah, blah. There's a water fountain over there, I don't recommend drinking from it.
Where's the coffee machine? Is it better or worse than Magadon?
Coffee machine's better than Magadon's.
Wow.
Hooray.
I mean, because remember, it's middle management. They can get at least the basic stuff. You know,
Yes.
we're talking the water fountain in the waiting area is bad. They probably have like a water cooler, you know,
Yeah.
further in, but yeah.
The coffee machine produces filtered water.
Yeah. So before too long, you are all. I'm assuming Dolores came with you, right?
Unless she didn't want to come, I invited her.
Right.
Oh, Peter might might be away from keyboard.
Yeah, he's muted, so he might be over. We're gonna assume Dolores is with you and just quiet at the moment. That seems to be her nature. I just wanted to. Anywho, yeah. So before too long, you are allowed in, and well, whoops, wrong folder. Yeah, you are allowed in, and he looks not happy to be here, but he's also kind of respectful of Henry to the extent that he can be with his personality combined with your charm. Bring that picture right back up so my viewers on YouTube can see it. So yeah, he kind of folds his hands in front of him and just kind of looks at Henry with a "I'm waiting" kind of. Yeah.
Oh, so, first thing I wanted to let you know about, the upgrade's in. It's all set up. Already have it all tested, so, should be good to go. We're just going to be finishing up actual, implementation very shortly. So just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Oh, and the second thing, just a funny detail that, me and my pal here picked up on. So what's going on with the what are they called? Femori? What's up with that?
Did you bring a spider, bro?
Oh yeah, no, I talked with the spider bro about like, is there any way you could come with us? I have no idea how the spirits work. But I'm like, if you can chill without freaking people out, that'd be cool.
He would have told you that it would have told you that it would send communication along so that one of the spiders there will basically be on the up. It knows what's going on and why you're there and that you are the Lord Incarnate. Basic details.
Just the little stuff.
Right. And you can't see it. It doesn't materialize, but I won't make you roll awareness. You can feel that there's something following you. You assume it's it because it doesn't feel any creepier than those spiders already are. But
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm just gonna say. So yeah, Fumora, I don't know what's going on with that. Do you have any idea? Maybe. We ran into some friends. As well, who just very interesting. Not what we would call natural.
he kind of is very silent as he's listening to this, but he's paying attention to you in a way that you've never seen him actually care what you say before. Like he is watching you. And then, as you get to kind of a break point, he pushes a button underneath his desk and the door closes and locks. It's not like in a menacing "I'm trapping you here" way, because there's a window you could break through if worst case and that kind of thing. It's more like we need to be sure we have privacy kind of a deal. He takes a really deep breath, then he says, "Just where have you been hearing about that sort of thing, Mr. What's your last name again? I can see T.
Temple.
Temple. Mr. Temple."
Oh, here, there. Those details aren't as important as like some answers, some clarification. I think it's gonna be really hard to continue working with these new friends around. Unless I have an idea of what I'm dealing with. That's all.
Well,
Right, Mason? You understand?
Absolutely. Yep.
He kind of gives
Just
Mason a look
clarify.
and, sees these first team member who has the, like, sub squad leader stripe on his...
Little patch, yeah.
yeah,
A pin, maybe.
right. A super special star.
Like just a sticker.
A pumpkin sticker.
A fucking sticker, Jesus Christ. Wow, they really go all out, huh?
Yeah.
No,
Metal System ceremony and everything.
a little better than that. But yeah, he does look him over and like, okay, well, the first team clearly knows something's going on, that kind of... there's recognition there, like... So he looks back and he says, well, Mr. Temple, you're going to have to get more specific in, at least, in what you want to know.
Oh, sure. What's a femori? Am I saying it right? I only saw it in writing.
He takes, a nice deep breath through his nose. Close enough. He turns to his computer for a moment and, clicks a couple of keys, and then turns the monitor towards you, and you can see, one of the standard, like, first team Fomori templates there. The kind of, like, it's got the lab descriptions from Magadon and all that kind of thing. Like, well, as you seem to be at least somewhat aware of, your own company's what largely gets into this sort of experimentation. As you, and he actually looks towards where the rust spider is, like, as your companion there likely knows, entities like that, creatures like that exist on a different wavelength from you, they can be joined with humans and other, not even just creatures, but constructions of flesh or even inorganic matter to create something new. And it is, in general, a completely beneficial experience, but obviously any experiment has its failures. And if any of you want to roll some empathy or subterfuge, go for it.
Sure. What appropriate skill? Perception, maybe?
Yeah. Perception or wits. I'll let you use either.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Okay. Difficulty 6.
Yep. I suppose I should roll something for him.
Good. Alright, let's see.
Let's do this. Ooh, all those dice rolling on top of each other.
Oh boy.
Alrighty, so it looks like Mason and Dolores. I'm gonna give the victory to you. Or the tie to you in the case of Mason, but yeah. Mason, you can kind of tell that when he says, it's beneficial, he means from his point of view as someone that's already in that state, him as a spirit creature.
It may not work out so well for this person.
The base person might not agree, but... and then Dolores, you don't have quite the same frame of reference, but you do realize that he is giving you... You would recognize company bullshit from a mile away. It's beneficial to the company. The corporation believes in this. The people that, they actually do it to probably wouldn't, And Henry,
a beneficial process, you say? He really believes that, I guess. Henry thinks to himself.
Right.
So, I can see it on the screen, and I maybe not so good at the scientific jargon, but what do they actually do? Like, they just put spirits in people, and they're sort of describing this process, and they're making monsters, basically.
It sounds like they're trying to explain it scientifically as well. Like they're trying to describe these as what? Like extra dimensional entities or something that you plug into
Well, it's
people?
basically like he explained it, like they're creatures that exist on a different like physical wavelength, is
Okay.
how they put it. I mean, it's how it, at least that's how it's put into the documentation too.
Okay.
So yeah,
Gotcha.
it's mostly like pseudo scientific jargon. For the most part, it's really hard to follow. I mean, even if you have both science and occult, it's like its own language of internal terms and such.
Right. It has its own internal logic, yeah.
I have to close this image. I don't like him staring at me.
I think how our characters feel, yeah.
Yeah.
So Henry's gonna take a long look at the information on the screen, then look back at my boss, who I still don't remember his name, unfortunately, and say, "You're one of these, right?"
He kind of eyes you a moment, like is deciding, but he eventually nods, kind of like assuming you already know.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Second question here. How can that possibly work when you're made of robot spiders? Like how? I'm looking at this myself, and like, look, I'm not like a geneticist, or anything like that, but this doesn't make any sense.
I'll ask you whether you have Omega clearance, but you're such a nice guy.
So also, I guess I'll turn on the Sorcerer's Sight and see if he looks any different in the spirit world. I mean, I assume people just normally look like the same or nothing, perhaps.
I think it basically comes down to he'll have a presence in the spirit world, too.
Okay, so he like a shadow. It won't be like it won't look like a
Like
spider.
if you look at any normal person, there's not really anything there. Maybe like the slightest haze of a reflection because of their avatar. I think mage gets
Right.
into that as a thing, but and you know a mage would be slightly more visible, but he just looks like him there.
Okay, good to know. That's how you spot. That's how I can maybe spot Fomori with these
Cool.
magic guys.
Good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he kind of taps his fingers on the table, and you know, as he, I don't have a good sound effect for it, but as he taps the table, basically like a bunch of those little spiders kind of like shatter out of his fingers and circle around his hand and then climb back into it. That's basically
Okay.
his answer to you.
I will lean back in my chair a little bit to get further away from him. And then say, okay, gotcha, okay. Doesn't have to make any goddamn sense. Got it. Hey Mason, did we have any other questions?
What's a bane?
Oh yeah, what's a bane?
It is a class of spirit. At least, you know, using the terminology that the same sort of being that gave you the term Bane would use. The same sort of they're the typical sort of entity that goes into this process, motioning to the computer screen.
Okay, probably we'll just go down the list of terms we didn't understand. Like, what is the Grand Maw?
He, you know, thinks for a moment and says, you don't have the clearance for me to really get into what that references.
Look at Henry, you know.
You sure about that? You know, maybe this is just something that can stay between us. You know, we're having a nice, frank conversation. It's going really nice and smooth. We want
I'll
to
let you
keep that
check
up,
your
right?
phone right now.
Well, that's the second step.
Yeah, he just kind of stares at you, so you feel like he's
Okay.
not going to give it unless you push.
All right. No problem. Yeah, his phone rings.
He looks confused because he had his phone on silent for a meeting, but looks to said phone.
Okay. Mind Spider.
Alrighty,
Mind Spider
mind
time.
spider away.
Yeah. And his willpower was 8, I think I remember from last time.
Yes.
So difficulty 6. Easy peasy. Yeah. All right.
You should use your excellency probably.
I probably should. Thank you. Oh god, does that mean I'm gonna glow in here? Oh shit.
Well, if you spend over 2 turns, it should be fine.
Yeah, sure. So as he's like, as I make his phone ring, that's fine. All right.
Yeah. Because,
Thanks.
you've got essence +1 turn, so it can just, yeah.
Exactly. All right, come on, baby. Yes.
Alrighty. 7 successes.
Beautiful. So as he listens to the phone, it like immediately just goes to like just clicks off. That's all he needs to hear for the subliminal messaging to kick in, which is he's going to tell us frankly about anything that we want to hear, and he's not going to discuss those conversations with anyone. He will lie about what we talked about. He'll lie about why we were there, just make it as mundane as possible, to hide that we ever discussed with him about this whole situation.
Alrighty. Let me just
Beautiful.
mark that down so I remember that. Okay. So yeah, he looks at you and after a few moments says, well, listen, it's a complicated matter. There are many less evolved entities that more or less worship the aspect of reality they were born from. It would be like if, you worshipped physics itself for existing. They worship a force of entropy that they feel aligned to.
Oh shit. Okay. So that's what the Great Maw, the Devourer, what was this one? The Worm? That
Yes.
was in there, right?
They have countless faces for it.
Uh-huh. And so these things worship, serve that thing. You do as well?
I am my own man, Mr. Temple. I just serve the needs of Pentex.
Uh-huh.
So
Interesting. Why?
why is Pentex covered in this stuff?
Yeah. Great question. Answer that question.
Well, it would be difficult to explain, and it's not exactly my specialty. It's not my field, not my job, really. But it's,
Do your best.
Pentex employs and takes advantage of many of those entities, and, well, frankly, having them kind of like waves to some of the webbing that, well, you have Sorcerer's Sight on, Mason, you can see.
Yep.
Like it in its way protects the building from outside interference by different classes of entity that exist in a similar wavelength.
Like an ecosystem.
What other
He
classes
nods.
are there?
He like sighs like, I really
This nerd
couldn't.
shit.
Yes, I couldn't really tell you. That is very much not my job, and I don't mean that dismissively. I mean I don't know beyond there being a vast ecosystem of it, the same way that there's a vast ecosystem on Earth. It's like asking a non-biologist what you find in the depths of the ocean and being upset if they only tell you fish.
Plastic?
Well, that too, probably.
I mean, yeah, fair. That's fair enough. You are made of these things, though, right? Like you got a bunch of them jammed into you. You can do the weird thing with your hand. Don't do that again.
It's more akin to an upgrade or a symbiosis.
I see. So you're not like just possessed by those things then?
Not in the same way you would think of a ghost possessing someone.
So who runs the show in your head? Is it Spider Things or the dude?
As I said, I am me. There is me.
So it's more like
I'm gonna lean over to Mason and go like, I think it's like, I think he's kind of telling the truth. Like it's a
merger.
yeah, like you're probably not the same person anymore.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, not great. Gotcha. Thanks for the info. Appreciate it. Okay. So I guess other question here I would want to ask would be all this bullshit's going on. Magadon and I guess Pentex as well are putting this juice into people to upgrade them. Why?
That's also above
The
my
end
pay
goal?
grade.
Oh. Okay. But it's not. Okay. So this is the thing. Like, it's not like in the news, like that we found a whole other dimension and we're mining it for resources and using it to upgrade. This is all like hush hush. So like, this is not just to make money. Can you tell me that at least?
It's not just to make money, no.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, no, even just that's kind of bad enough, but that's not good. Okay. All right. Cool. Again, any other questions, Dolores? Do you have any questions?
No, I think this is way above my pay grade.
Yeah. Fair.
I think your pay
So-
grade is what we decided is now. So
Oh,
congratulations.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, to an extent,
Let's back in.
if you start jumping too many leaps at a time, someone higher up will eventually find out. But
Yes.
I assumed it's
so-
like one promotion's worth for now.
Yeah, we're
So
taking
what
it slow.
do you know what the heck is up with all the shapeshifters? Like werewolves coming out of the streets, and I mean,
Oh, that's a great question.
yeah, like they give the first teams a whole, let's call it a very abbreviated education that these horrible monsters might attack. And there are also allied monsters, except they're not exactly good allies. Be very careful around them and do whatever they say, and blah blah blah.
Shapeshifters of all sorts are dangerous and hard to predict. That's basically all I know. They're not something you want to get involved in with.
Yeah, I
There,
can believe
yeah.
that.
You have anger management problems.
Yes.
Okay, weird.
So who would know? Who else should we be talking to?
Yes, great question.
He kind of thinks for a moment and he pulls his monitor back to him and, clicks through a few places and like, well, you could try, I don't really work directly with anyone myself, but I imagine, well, back at Magadon, we do have researchers starting up who have been moved from other locales. You could just try and talk to them. They could probably tell you more about the actual nature of everything, and he kind of waves his hand as he says everything.
Okay, sure. Do you have a list of who's been upgraded, or do we need to figure that out for ourselves?
Within the, within the areas I manage, I do have the basic list, yes.
Wonderful.
Oh, important question. I would want to know that because I want to know if any of my staff have been quote unquote upgraded, since I assume manage like an IT team and stuff like that.
Well, there are a decent number, though not too many at your lab itself. I could send you the list if you would like.
Like that. Thank you.
Alright, I will mark that down too.
Emily, you are on the list.
No, you are like I've mentioned before, in your files they kind of have like question marks, like what the fuck is up with him? We're still trying to figure it out as the main flag there.
Right? Are you a
Yeah.
Nexus crawler, Fomori? That might be
Yeah,
probably on their list.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
are you what happens when you know one of those things possesses someone?
Jesus
Right.
Christ, trying to fit that in somebody. Oh God. Just stuff it in.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's ultimately what they were kind of trying, was to, like, they didn't have the chrysalis there to draw power from originally, but their whole thing was to make a basic Bane a lot stronger and then stick it in someone. So, it was kind of where they were ultimately going for.
Okay, ideas are percolating.
Mhm.
Oh crap! What have I done?
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, again, we'll get that info. We'll get those lists, people to contact, who has been upgraded that he knows about. We'll have that all sent over, and yeah, I guess that's everything that we need for right now. Unless someone has anything else.
So what's his name actually? Because I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
we
what's
ever
your
got
name
it.
Did I write his name? I wrote like a bunch of names down, but I don't think I actually decided a name for him. All right, his name is. What's a good boomer name?
Gerald.
Joseph.
Joseph.
Joseph, normal person.
No, I mean,
God.
Yeah, I guess he needs a last name, right?
Probably would've gone with-
Joseph Norm.
Norm is Normie is a Fomori type.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, what's a good last? I always suck at coming up with last names. I just
Joseph
put
Nest. Because he's
Joseph-
a nest.
I
Nest.
honestly just use a name generator and hit refresh till I find something I like.
Good. Last name generator. Oh god, there's so many buttons on this thing.
All right, here's a much simpler
Oh
one.
no.
Oh, here we go. No, that is a Spanish name. Garin.
Here.
Sure, that works. Joseph
Garin.
Garin. Aryn.
Perfect.
Mr. Garin.
Well, it was a pleasure talking with you, Mr. Garin. Thanks for your help, and keep the spiders in your shirt.
He just kind of
yeah.
grunts at you.
Yeah, great.
He
That's
looks
the
very, like conflicted with himself, because every instinct says he should probably be reporting this meeting and on it and stuff, but you kind of mind spidered him not to. So
Oops.
that's all good. He'll eventually come to terms with it and just get back into the swing of things.
It was all a dream.
It was all a dream.
It's a bowl of flies.
Oh my god.
Did Dolores raise the Pentex supply closet? Oh my god, they have swing lines.
All right, so that would be the end of the day. So is there anything you want to do over your weekend?
I was going to take my kid brother and get him off of his video game, his Call of Duty or whatever, and take him to the dojo. And probably, discuss some of what I learned in that Fomori meeting with my mentor as well while I'm here.
Sounds good.
I
right.
assume that Mason has been trying to get his brother to come for a while, but up to now has lacked both the time and the leadership excellency.
Yeah, now you can probably nudge him well enough.
Yeah.
Though he does make you wait until the end of the match and, thinks
Yeah.
it's bullshit because he lost.
Yeah.
And blames it
That'd
on
be
you.
difficulty 9 to get him to stop early. You kidding me?
Right, yeah. You don't have enough charms to make him stop in the middle of the match. How old is your brother?
He's in high school. I think he's like 15, 16.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah. It'd be funny he was like 30.
Yeah. just laying on the couch, growing a beard.
Mm-hmm. No. Right. So yeah, you can take your brother to the dojo and pass him off to, one of the
Maybe he'll learn something. Maybe
right.
he'll get magic powers. Maybe he, as I say to Kevin, the mentor, it's like maybe there's a genetic component to all of this thing I've got, or maybe he'll just learn kung fu. Either way, it's not the worst thing.
Yeah. Maybe you can force him to learn the what do you call the martial arts that the
The Akashic martial arts or whatever.
no, not the Akashic one. The Akashic one's mage only. The Eastern one that the Demon Hunter X had.
Yes. Yes, the Kiao.
Right. That word.
Kiao. I'm not sure I pronounced it correctly.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be able to learn that, but it'll probably take a bit, since he is
Years and years,
not
most
as far
likely,
as
yeah.
you know in Exalt.
Right. No, but
Or
like I
anything.
said, it was useful to introduce him, and
Right. You never know.
he's better off here than just sitting in the house. He'll have productive weekends now, perhaps.
Yep. So he goes off to one of the basic classes, and you can catch up your mentor.
Yeah, I sort of explain. I have no reason to hide anything. Like, we went to the basement, we found like this weird thing. The spiders can talk, but only through electronics. They mentioned all kinds of weird words. I probably leave Henry out of it. I just say I stabbed a couple, and the message got across, and then, I talked to this Fomori, gave us a basic explanation.
Ooh,
I mean,
that's a
unless
good
Henry is
roll.
okay with me spilling his dirt, but.
You can talk about whatever. I don't care. If you
Oh, I mean, in
trust
character,
the spirit.
I'll ask Henry if it's okay if I name drop you to these people who might know more.
Oh
Like, they
yeah.
Okay. I'm not
Fucking
gonna do it
go
without your
for it.
permission. Yeah. So yeah, I've got
Appreciate it.
I've got this friend Henry, and this brand of spirit seems to like him, and blah blah blah.
Okay, so yeah, you explain all of that to him, and he says, at some point he says he was actually about to call you in, but then he heard you were coming anyway. He
Yeah.
finally had a chance to essentially talk to a guy who could talk to a guy who could give him access to this weird. He basically explains it as like a library made up of lost libraries. Sort of like a mindscape memory of all libraries.
Yes, literally called the Akashic memory,
Right.
and White Wolf did not come up with it.
Yep. And he said that with enough effort and cross-referencing, he found this one reference related to the elemental, the elemental blooded, the blood of dragons types, that
Right.
they, in ages past, like prehistory, like a different type of history, like what we know as history wasn't actually how history started. And he goes into some like magical 5-dimensional bullshit you probably can't completely follow.
Right.
He says that essentially, though, they started off as guardians of what they called a black vault. And within the black vault, they had contained the most destructive, powerful, corrupt essences that were akin to theirs, but actually born of much more potent forces of the universe, like perhaps in your case the sun. Something far like more of a celestial bent than the terrestrial forces that the dragon blood's connected to.
Okay. That's. Golly, that's a thing.
Like in,
And
but
so
that vault was said to have been lost. They lost track of it, and some thought it had just vanished with the passing of magic in the ages between. You know to some extent about like the tradition mages, like his sort dealing with less enlightened sorts and how the enlightenment is shrinking, that kind of deal. Like, but
Right.
yeah, that's basically what he references. Like they thought that it had been lost and just faded away, but as the only thing he can think of is that that thing must have still existed, and somehow you and your friend, plural, must
Yeah.
have inherited some of that power. That would explain why you're so close to the dragon-blooded they knew about, but are on another level entirely.
Okay, that did or no? Do you think the dragon blooded might have come back?
He shrugs. Like, we still don't have any communication with them. I'll I'll see if we can, go through some of our old connections and see what they know. But one thing at a time. It took a lot of effort just to put all of this together.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Ancient history that never was or something. Yeah, wow. Ancient and corrupt magic. I don't feel particularly corrupt.
Well, you know how it is with the whole history being defined by the winners.
Right. Maybe it was more of a power corrupts kind of thing, especially if you're not the one who has it,
Right.
I guess.
It might
Oh,
simply be a case of, there's nothing I can feel about your power feels corrupt in the same way many other creatures in the world do, but, well,
yeah, and
it's...
certainly there are definitely ways to use this less ethically than others. I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, that might I guess, like magic probably I'm sure there are mages who are also less than ethical. I probably don't even use the word mages, but people who
Yeah, I know
abuse
what you
their
mean.
enlightenment while they still have it or whatever.
Right. Um, I'll also put out some... I'll also, through those same contacts, see if there's any mention of similar people coming into existence elsewhere in the world. I imagine we would have heard about it if there were any more in this city, but for the moment, you and your friends are the only one I've really heard of.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Pentex or Magadon is manufacturing what they call Fomori. They appear to be mergers of flesh and spirit,
That,
except Banes, whatever that is. I mean,
yes,
who
those
refer to
are...
themselves as Banes. Yeah, I mean that means you're the baddie, right? You say I'm the evil guy.
Banes are corrupt spirits.
Right.
It's that
Worshipping
simple,
entropy.
really. Hmm. But not just entropy. Entropy twisted in a way. They don't really fulfill their proper purpose anymore.
Okay.
Their rusty edges as the wheel of eternity turns.
Okay. Yeah. So I can kill them. That's helpful.
Well, they do tend to reform after a while.
I don't think they will when I do it. I think they stay dead.
What makes you think that?
Uh, so in okay. So I can feel their inner core being ripped apart when I do it. Like I reach in there and shred them and absorb part of it, and the rest goes somewhere? Question mark? Maybe nowhere.
I see. That... I've only heard of the most powerful of my sort able to permanently end them like that.
Happens every time I do it. Like with a flick, like a flick of your wrist. It's like it's all in the wrist kind of thing.
I see. Well, that definitely tracks with some of these legends. If you are truly some manifestation of the solar incarna, um,
The solar what now?
banished... Well, there is... so the incarna is a term in Old World of Darkness.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Mason doesn't know it.
He doesn't know what solar means, of the
No,
sun.
No,
No, but-
Incarna.
Incarna was the word that I didn't get there.
I thought he had talked about that with you before.
Okay. So all right. So like the avatar of the sun, basically.
Right.
Okay.
The the Celestial and Karna these days don't interact with the world in that same way, but according to these legends, they used to.
Okay. And they did this for some reason.
Well, we're not sure if they, like, created you or if somehow your sort took their power. That might have been why you were originally locked away. We just know that there's a connection.
Okay, that's fair. They may be like, give me that back, and that'd be unfortunate for me.
Maybe, but well, I'll let you know if I hear about any of the Celestials looming over the mundane world. And he kind of, like, makes a face at that, like there'd be far more trouble if they noticed that first
Right.
than having
So,
to tell you.
yeah, and I mean, like, we'll probably have a little discussion about the Order of Spirit, so, classification. So, like, is the Celestial Incarna, like, on the level of the Grand Maw? Like, are they of equal power, or is one bigger? And if not, or, I mean, he might not even know some of this, right? But, like, does the Celestial work for something else?
I have not fully made his sheet, but he does have, like, mind, life, and spirit, is what I've been assuming.
Yeah, that's how the Akashics lean, usually.
Right. So, and he's pretty... So, he's not, like, a master, but he's either a disciple or adept. I'll figure that out.
Right.
But, he knows enough to know the basic order of things as far as the Akashics understand it. And Akashics are not my strong point, but he can tell you, the triad from the mage perspective where it's resonance, and tell you that a lot of spirits line up with that and how a lot of magic ends up lining up with that. And that, he'll actually tell you that the shapeshifters are the ones that think there's some totem of each of those aspects, but they've never actually seen any evidence of such powerful spirits truly existing. That just seems to be kind of like a worship thing.
Okay. Are there, like, lesser sun spirits, maybe? Because, okay, so there were, I
Right.
sort of describe how these rusty spiders worship the worm, and I'm like, well, maybe there are sun creatures.
Yes, there are. He will. There's all sorts of, like, lesser celestial spirits, and there are actually different classes of them within that. But he kind of hand waves that because
Profession, basic. There's a whole profession there. Like, maybe we should consult with one of them. Maybe they'll be able to tell us something.
Yeah.
Whether that guy is terrible, don't talk to him, and then we know that would not be an avenue worth following.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Have you discovered any ability of yours to actually call upon a spirit to communicate with like that?
I can see them, but I can't understand them. I can look through the okay, I can see into at least 3 different realms. Maybe more, but not all at the same time. Right? There's the one where everything looks rotten and destroyed. There's the one where all the animist spirits are kind of walking around doing their thing, and there's one that looks just kind of weird and goofy.
He kind of looks confused when you mention the weird and goofy one, because even
right
mages
describe,
don't really know much about.
Yeah, I'll describe, like, I saw one dude, and he looked normal, regular time, and he was, like, walking down the street. He was probably, like, a young guy, like, in his 20s. And then I looked at him again, and he, had I looked through him through this perspective, and he had big pointy ears. And another guy was blue and, like, 4 feet taller. Weird, goofy stuff.
If you mention that, he kind of looks like he's, like, struggling with his own mind, because, mages are still susceptible to the mists. So if he does know about Fae, he really needs to clear his mind magically to access those memories.
And I mean, I would be too, except for all-encompassing sorcerer's sight. So it's hilarious.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like I said, weird and goofy, and I don't, these abilities don't come with a manual, right?
Right.
I move the chi in certain ways. It does stuff like when I gathered this power, when I learned to do this, I was just trying to see, like, magical auras. I still haven't figured that out. I still can't look at people and be like, oh, there's your anima in the spirit world. I can't do it. All I see is a faint haze.
Well,
but
that's a
yet
start.
I can see these rusty. Yet I can see these, rusty spiders, spinning spider webs all over a building. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you need help calling on one of them, I can loan you some books if you can figure out what what you would like to talk to. I mean, I can make some suggestions, but it would require as much back and forth learning about you as it would take you to look into this yourself. And if you can come back to me with that, I can arrange to summon something for you.
All right, sure. I'll gladly accept the books. Hopefully they're in English.
Yep. Of course, I'll expect you to allow me to be there and learn anything that you do, but
I mean, I assume
imagine
you'd
that.
have to be to conjure the spirit, right? So
Right. Well,
I'm not sure I can conjure anything. Maybe I
Right.
haven't tried. Is there like a guide to conjuring 101 around here? I know that's not how you approach things, and that's just I'm not trying to be flippant, but I don't know what I can do. I couldn't do a 2-finger handstand for today, and now I can. Or before, 6 months ago, and now I can. So
well, there are resources for learning lesser forms of sorcery that you might be able to learn some basics from, but I imagine flexing your own abilities and trying to come up with something will eventually yield better results. And in the meantime, I'm happy to bridge the gap for you to try and learn a bit more about what's happening in the world.
very good. All right. Well, I'll take a look at your, Demonology 101, and
Yeah, he'll basically, go and come back out with, more or less handwritten journals, because actual umbral knowledge you're not going to find in most books.
right.
It'll basically have it'll talk about the celestial courts and the ethereal realm and the equivalent in the astral, which also
Right.
has its own form of them. So you'll have to
Sure.
figure out what you want to summon.
Yes, I'll do that.
And I can
I'll probably
and I can arrange for that for next session, because I need
Sure.
to actually refresh myself on some of the spirit courts.
Yeah. Right. I don't actually know out of character that much about it either. I'm not a big werewolf guy. So,
Right.
yeah, I'll probably share this information with Henry so he can at least, get some understanding of what the heck is going on. I also share it with Dolores. So I'm not sure if she cared.
Wow, nice penmanship.
Yeah. Right. I'm not trying to cut you out. I'm just assuming that you don't
It's
care.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe as I say to Henry after the meeting with my mentor, that maybe there's an order of spirit that worships me as a god. I don't know.
Oh man, that would be. You know what? Things would start to line up. Okay, if that was true, things would start to line up. We've got infected with some kind of spiritual, if that's a word for it, extra dimensional juice that's connected to these powerful entities that have lesser orders of entity. Yeah, there might be
Right.
some stuff going on there.
There's a non-zero chance this stuff was stolen by like ancient wizards or something. So they may be upset. So if we talk to the big guy, they may be like, "I want that back."
Oh, that would be bad. Okay.
Right. Even though it's
Interesting.
obviously not our fault, that would probably not go well for us. We should definitely tread a little bit cautiously here, and we'll talk to the little guys.
That's
Well,
a good plan.
And maybe that's why they're mistaking you as a deity, because, that's where it came from. That's a guess. Right?
That makes as much sense as anything else.
Yeah, right? I don't think I want to give it back. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Even though it's gross. Mine's gross. Yours is not. And I still don't want to give it back.
Right. I mean, yeah, no. Especially with all the shit we've gotten up to.
Yeah.
Imagine paying the piper for that without this stuff to rely on. Holy crap.
Yeah, I'd be dead.
Or worse.
I don't even know what worse could be!
Yeah. I'm sure they'll think of something.
Uh,
Yeah,
There's always a worse when it comes to Pentex.
yeah. So, and then we can go over this list, decide who we want to talk to. Like, maybe we want to have a frank conversation with Jewel. She seems all right for a human possessed by a corrupt spirit, question mark?
yeah, she's one of these, yeah.
Maybe it's possible that the corruption is on a spectrum and she's, less, or maybe she just hides it better. It's really hard to say. Like, I'm not
I
sure
don't
where
know.
these things stand on the crazy and evil, so to speak, right? Like, does Mr. Garen go home and eat babies? Yeah, I don't know.
It
Or maybe
didn't
just
seem like it.
yeah, we didn't ask him. We should.
No, we didn't ask. Shit.
What
Send him an email.
horrible,
Say, do you eat babies?
what horrible things do you do in your spare time?
What's it like being a Fomori? Actually, that might be a decent question. What's it like being a Fomori? Or, maybe we could ask. Okay, so what I'm kind of curious, and I'll probably ask Jewel this without any sort of supernatural prompting. Is like, so how come you stick around Magadon? You've clearly got the skills to do this anywhere, and Magadon pays really well, but there are places that pay more or have more exciting duty rosters. Like, what keeps you here?
Are you asking her that today or when you go into work on Monday?
Like when I go into work on Monday, I'll ask her.
Okay. Well, is there anything else anyone wants to do over the weekend before we hit Monday then?
Oh, I will finish my layer because that's will be
Yes,
the
when
full
you-
week.
When you come into work on Monday, I believe your lair will be complete.
Yeah.
And you will
Probably
have
means
lair
I can see it
mechanics all
glowing.
throughout Magadon.
yeah, and dragon nests for the rest of us probably.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the charm that turns it into a dragon nest, right?
Yeah. It's a bad charm that I have to take my heart out and put it in the lost and found or something so nobody will find it.
Just
Yeah.
under a coat. And the worst part is it's Magadon, so it's like, oh shit, this should be in the specimen box. Like they would find it and they'd be like, crap, they'll just move it. It won't just like throw it away or call the police.
Right. It'll just like, oh, God damn it, who's been playing with the hearts again? Jim! Did you take the hearts out again?
I have an extra one. Shit. It's not on the list. What do you do on your weekend, Henry?
Man,
Curious,
that's a great
yeah.
question. I would probably, be trying to. I think I would be trying to find out ways I can. What's the word I'm looking for?
This was around here.
I'm trying to think of the word. I want to. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna use that list and like the different like IT guys that are like part of my team.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to start, just like it's like a project over the weekend. Basically like reorganizing my teams, and like setting up like meetings and sending out emails for like, hey, on Monday we're gonna have some meetings, because I'm gonna start, figuring out what their deals are, why there's Fomori on my teams, what they're up to, because I got all this data talking about all these projects, but I wanna see how these pieces are interacting.
Okay, ultimately, actually, on the IT team, you probably only have, like, one Fomori. It's, IT is not really a huge team in there. It's the kind of thing where everyone's cubicles can fit in one room. And of course, it's, like, the half cubicles, because, you have to have the open office thing, and it's like, what's the point? And, of course, you actually have an office now, because
Oh, that's right. Because I'm fancy now. Yeah, I'll still set up these meetings, just to have the excuse.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's basically it.
All right, so I need to come up with a Fomori on your team. All right.
Yeah. And I guess we read over this like spirit book and learn about the orders of spirits according to the Akashics.
Yep.
Or at least that they're willing to tell us about.
That would be fascinating.
Yep. And make very little sense to any of us.
All right. I assume Dolores is basically going to come in early and finish her lair, and that's pretty much the only thing she has ready for the weekend.
Pretty much.
All right. In that case, it sounds like a bunch of stuff that would be better with a little bit of prep. So we might want to call it there for now, and we will get into the next week's worth of stuff. AD9, that's not... Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. So yeah, next time we'll be starting your second week on Monday, and we will get a bit more going. So on that note, thank you everyone for listening. This has been Chris Falco with Falconian Productions, and you've been listening to Exalted vs. World of Darkness Pentex.